Hi guys, welcome to the Aspiring Home Cook. My name is Trisha and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make these really awesome black bean burgers. These are so simple to put together and I cannot stress on how tasty they turn out. So whether you're someone that does a full-fledged plant-based diet or you're just trying to introduce a few more meatless meals in your diet, this is a really fun way to change things up. Before we move on to the recipe, if you're new here and haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel. Once you do, click on that little bell icon so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. We're going to start off by making our black bean patties, and one of the key ingredients in these patties is one zucchini. This adds a beautiful moisture and flavor and sneaks in an extra veg in here that a lot of picky eaters will not be able to tell it's there. I don't want this too fine. I want it to retain some texture, so I am going to use the thicker grates of the box grater to grate this down. Remember to do this right at the beginning because this will need to sit for about 15 minutes to draw out all that moisture. Once that's done, sprinkle a little salt. I've got about half a teaspoon of salt over here that I'm just going to sprinkle over the zucchini, and I'm just going to lightly toss it so that that salt gets distributed. The salt will help draw out a lot of moisture which we don't want in those burger patties. We're going to set this aside and move on with the rest of our prep. Now today I'm using some boiled black beans that I'd boiled at the start of the week during my meal prep, and that makes life so much easier. If you'd like to see a video on how I do some basic meal prep for the week, leave me a comment and let me know and I'll share that with you too. I'm using about 2 cups of boiled black beans. Now instead of this, you can also just as well use a couple of cans of black beans. Just drain out all of the liquid and rinse them thoroughly and pop them in a bowl. With these black beans, I'm going to roughly mash them just using my regular potato masher. If you don't have one, you can also work with a fork or simply use clean hands and break down the beans. You don't want a really fine puree. You want a very rough mash. Some of it needs to be a little chunky, some of it needs to be mashed a little finer than that so that everything holds together in that little burger patty well. And here's what I'm left with. A fairly inconsistent mash, but this will do the job just right. To make these black bean burgers even tastier, I'm going to add in half an onion, finely chopped, into the mix. Now you can adjust the amount of spice that you want in the burger. I'm not going to use an entire chili. I'm just going to finely chop about half of this chili just to keep it mildly spiced. Again, if you enjoy spicy food, go ahead and add as much chili as you'd like. And I'm going to pop in 1 large clove of garlic. Like you can see, this one here is a Zocker. If the cloves of garlic that you have are slightly smaller, maybe put in about 2 or 3 depending on the size. Finely chop the garlic as well. And we're simply going to add that chopped onion, chili and garlic into the mashed black beans. Now by about now, the zucchini has released a lot of moisture. You can tell because those shreds go really limp and you can feel that moisture. What you're going to do is squeeze out all of that excess liquid and add the zucchini to the black bean mix. Now we're going to add in some of the spices and flavorings. I'm going to start off by adding half a teaspoon of cumin powder, about the same amount of smoked paprika, so that's half a teaspoon of smoked paprika going in there, and we're going to give this a good mix. Once the initial mixing is done, you really need to get in there with your hands so that those spice powders get into every little nook and cranny of that black bean mix. At this point, I would recommend tasting that mix to check and see if you need to add more salt. Remember, we had salted the zucchini to draw out that moisture, so there will be a little bit of that salt left behind, as well as I'd used salt while boiling the beans, so there's going to be a little seasoning from that as well. In this case, I did need to add a little more, so that's what I'm going to do at this stage. Add some salt to taste. And at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of some apple cider vinegar as well. Like you can see, I barely ever use a spoon to do this bit. I just pour some in the lid and add it to the bowl. But this is about 1 to 1.5 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Of course, you can add that to taste. And I'm going to use 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. This is wholemeal and mixed grain breadcrumb that I'm using. That is why you see those specks in there, but feel free to use any breadcrumb that you have on hand. And you're going to mix in all of these ingredients into the black bean mix really well. Now once that's done, all that's left to do is shape this mix to form your burger patties, depending on the size that you're after. Unlike actual meat cutlets, these really won't shrink. They'll hold their shape and size very well with cooking. So just shape these up to a size that you're happy to use in your burger. So out of that mix, I got about 4 decent burger patties and 2 slightly smaller ones that I'm going to use to serve with a salad or something. These little patties are great for when you're meal prepping and you can use them through the week. Just make sure you keep them refrigerated, and I just simply reheat them on a hot pan. Now to cook these burgers off, I've got a little oil in a pan and I'm just very gently going to place these patties in there. They're a little delicate, so make sure that you're gentle while handling them. Now, because almost everything in here is either cooked or are just veggies, these patties or cutlets don't require much cooking at all. I fry them up for about 2 to 3 minutes on a medium heat. Typically what you're looking for is a nice little crisping up on that bottom edge before you can flip them over. We're going to carefully flip them over, and that's what I'm talking about. Just a little gentle browning that goes on the bottom. That's what you're looking for. Carefully turn the patties over, and you're going to again let these cook off for another 2 to 4 minutes till you get the same kind of effect on the second side as well. My black bean patties are done. Like you can see, they've got a beautiful coloring going on both sides, and they're still fairly delicate. So carefully take them out of the pan and place them on a plate and continue frying the rest of your patties. And now we're going to get to do the fun stuff. That's actually putting this burger together. I've got my patties done. I'm using some homemade vegan mayonnaise today. Watch out for that recipe. That's the next video on the channel. I start off with a little bit of that mayo on both sides of the burger bun. Now this is just how I like my burger. Feel free to construct your burger just the way you like it. Right on the bottom, we're going to start with a layer of lettuce. I'm going to top that with one of these gorgeous black bean patties. Now this is a non-negotiable for me. I love onion in my burger, so I'm going to go ahead and add a fairly decent amount of onion here. A couple of slices of tomato. Now nothing's worse than an under-seasoned slice of tomato in your burger, so go ahead and make sure that you season the tomato really well. I'm just going to sprinkle some freshly cracked black pepper on the top and a tiny bit of salt. Next, some pickles. And I had some leftover avocado in the fridge that I really needed to use up, so I've gone ahead and added some of that as well. Oh my gosh guys, the avocado adds so much creaminess to this burger and rounds everything up so well. If you've got an avo at hand, go ahead and use that in your burger and you'll see what I'm talking about. And we're just going to pop that lid on. And just like that guys, your delicious black bean burger is ready to be devoured. I just love the way this has come together. All those colors just pop so well. And just to show you what it looks like on the inside, I'm going to cut through that burger. There you go. You've got lots of yummy layers in there, and you can rest assured this is chock full of flavor. Today I'm serving this burger up with some potato wedges that I've just put together in my air fryer, seasoned with a little bit of salt and pepper. And that guys is how I make these beautiful and delicious black bean burgers. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with family and friends that you think might enjoy it too. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to see you really soon with another delicious recipe. So till then, take care. Bye.